Hey guys, in this video we're going to be finding the volume of pyramids, and cones behave the same way as pyramids. So it's basically the same formula as a prism. We're going to find the area of the base, whatever shape that is. We're going to multiply it by the height of the pyramid or cone, and then we're going to divide that number by 3. So we're going to be finding the area of a shape, which is the base. We're going to multiply that number by the height of the pyramid, and then we're going to divide that whole thing by 3. So it helps to name the shape. This is a square pyramid. So the square that's at the bottom is our base. And I like to draw it the same way that I do for prisms. That square at the bottom is 20 by 20. So the area of that square, 20 times 20, is 400. So it's the area of the base times the height. So there's a little extra information on this picture. The height of a pyramid goes from the tip where the triangles meet at the top, and it goes through to the center of the base. So that is the height of my pyramid. Now sometimes you might see it on the side over like this. There'll be like an extra line on the side. Sometimes they show you the height that way. So I'm going to be doing the area of my base, which was 400, times 13, and then divide that by 3. And that will give me the volume of this pyramid. So 400 times 13, and then divide that answer by 3. So the volume of this one is 1,733.3, and that would be meters cubed. All right, the next shape is also a square pyramid. So I need to find the area of that square. So 6 times 6 is 36. So I'm going to be doing 36 times the height of this pyramid. Now, if you notice, this one doesn't have the height labeled. It goes from here to here. It has this 12 is labeled, but that 12 is not the height of the pyramid. That 12 is pointing to the triangle, and the triangle is slanted. It's a side. So that's actually called the slant height. So we don't know what the height of this pyramid is. I don't know if you can tell, but if I go from the center of this square to the edge of the square, I just made a right triangle. And since the center is going to be half of 6, so this little side here is 3. And this is my hypotenuse. 3 is a leg, my height is a missing leg, so I'm going to have to do Pythagorean Theorem for this problem to find the height. So a squared plus b squared equals c squared. A squared plus my leg that I know is 3. My hypotenuse is 12. So 3 squared is 9. 12 squared is 144. I'm going to subtract 144 minus 9. And then in the calculator, press that square root button. So the square root of 135 is about 11.6. So now that I know the height of the pyramid, I can finish finding the volume. So it's the area of my base. Run out of room here. The area of my base was 36 times the height. So times 11.6, and divide that answer by 3. Area of the base times the height, divided by 3. So 36 times 11.6, divide that answer by 3. This one is 139.2 centimeters cubed, but I don't have room to write it, so that's fine. All right, so cones are the same formula, same idea, we just have a circle at the bottom. So when I go to do the area of the base times the height and then divide that number by 3, my base is a circle. So they're pointing to this as the radius. So I have a circle with a radius of 5. The area of a circle is pi r squared. So pi times 5 squared. So I'm going to type that in my calculator. And I'm going to use 3.14 for pi. So the area of my base is 78.5. This one is the height of my cone because it goes from the top straight through to the center of the base. So I'm going to be doing 78.5 times 8.7 and then divide that by 3. So the volume of this cone is 227.65 centimeters cubed. All right, this cone, I actually have the same exact size circle. So when I go to find the area of my base, it's a circle with a radius of 5, so pi times 5 squared, and I just did that for the last problem, so I know that's 78.5. But if you notice, for this cone, we do not have the height. This is the height, and this is, again, going to be a leg of this right triangle. That 13 is slanted, so that's called the slant height. So we're not going to use that, but we are going to need that to do Pythagorean Theorem to find the height of the cone. So a squared plus b squared equals c squared. 5 is my leg, so that's b. So 5 squared is 25. 13 squared is 169. I'm going to subtract. So I'm going to do 169 minus 25. And that's 144. And then when I square root that, I'm going to get 12. So the height of my cone is 12. So now I can finish finding the volume. It's the area of my base times the height divided by 3. So 78.5 was the circle times the 12, that's the height, and then divide that by 3. So the volume of this one is 314 meters cubed. All right, so you do the same thing for every single one. It's the area of the base, which for most pyramids, your base is going to be a square. That's the most common. For a cone, your base is always the circle, so you always do pi r squared. Multiply it by the height. If you don't have the height, that means it's a Pythagorean Theorem problem to find the missing height. So it's the area of the base, multiply by the height, and then divide that answer by 3. A sphere, you don't have to memorize this formula. Usually it's somewhere on the EOC for a problem. So it's 4/3 times pi times the radius cubed. So pay attention, because when you see the line going all the way across the sphere like this, that's the diameter. And so if they point to the center and they give you a measurement, they're telling you the diameter is that long. So the radius would be 4, because the radius is half of the diameter. So I'm just going to plug this 4/3 times pi times my radius cubed, and I'm just going to type that whole thing into the calculator. So I'm going to do 4/3 just like that, times pi, times 4, and then I'm going to push this button here, the caret, to get an exponent, and make sure you make that a 3. So 267.9 millimeters cubed, and I'm done. All right, so I hope that will help you, and if you still need more examples, I promise you, if you Google find the volume of pyramids or go on YouTube and click find the volume of pyramids, find the volume of cones, there's going to be a gazillion videos that will help you as well.